Oh my god! Oh my god! Look at them! What? Yo! Luigi! Holy shit, he's dead! I can't believe it! Boom Boom's in net! DK's f***ing... Hold on, I gotta watch this. Holy shit!
I was gonna upload my reaction, but the audio in my stream was like,
holy shit!
Horrible. I noticed a lot rewatching that first trailer because I happened to rewatch it like 5 times. I love Mario Strikers, and the big thing for me is like, okay, is this gonna be like the other Mario sports games in the recent years? You know what they do? Every June they release a new Mario sports game, and it sort of looks like the older ones, but then when you actually play it, it feels very hollow. Is that gonna be the same story with this, or is it going to be akin to the originals? That's what I'm doing here, as you can see the length of the video. So let's talk about it. First, characters. There's only 10 of them. Mario, Luigi, Peach, Toad, Yoshi, Bowser, Wario, Waluigi, DK, and Rosalina. These are your cream of the crop characters, and it certainly doesn't feel like we're missing anyone. I mean, fine, yeah, sure, yeah, cool, I guess, whatever. Except, no, we will definitely need more characters. Like, there's just not enough here, and wait. There are no more sidekicks. You know, like in the past games, you had the captains and they had, you know, the Mega Strikes, and then you had the additional characters that composed the rest of your team. And typically, I mean, in the first game, it was all one race of a different character. Your Birdos, your Koopas, your Toads, or your Hammer Bros, which is like one of his first playable appearances. And then in Charged, you could customize the teams even more. So this looks like an extension of Charged, except instead of the captains being exclusive to one team, now you can have a team full of captains, or rather, everyone's a sidekick. The repercussions are every team has a Boom Boom now. Can we choose Pom Pom? These are the questions we should be asking. My biggest problem is if there were only 10 characters in the full game, and I'm being very conservative on purpose, wouldn't there be like a chance of many overlapping team types if there's only 10 characters? Are you gonna be barred out of choosing some characters if the other team has them? Well, that's what I thought too, but looking closely at the trailer, notice at this screen specifically, there are 2 Toads on screen, which, you know, congrats to me. 2 Toads being next to each other is like 2 Starbucks being next to each other. It's common, but what this points out is characters don't have to be on one team and then they're barred from the other. You could have dittos. You could technically have a composition of the same characters on both teams. And maybe that's what this game has? Maybe in the trailer they thought it would be a little bit weird having 2 Princess Peaches, but Toads, you know, you see that all the time. What I'm trying to say is, online, you definitely won't be barred from having 2 Marios face against each other. Heresy. But maybe this means we could have battles of 4 DKs versus 4 DKs. We can, I think that's very valid to ask. And the reason I think this is possible is alternate colors. Say for Smash, the Mario characters truthfully never depart from their core color schemes, but in this game, for the first time, Waluigi in pink. Even Mario and Luigi have their outfits changed, but the brims on their hat, they stay their color. Same with Rosalina, she has the jersey, but underneath, she has her iconic blue. So this leads me to believe this game's going to be focused on customization and personal expression, evident by the clear customization of the field, the characters, teams, and logos. Plus the clubs aspect of the online, I think they're heavily going to be pushing that, which I'm like, thank you, Charged Online was cheeks. And speaking of the courts, characters have specific courts for themselves, sort of. We have 4 examples in the trailer of these half courts, which seemingly has 2 courts fused together to represent the home team and the away team, which is a cool concept. I just feel like it gets stale and you'd constantly be seeing the same courts all of the time, so unless they're hiding like 8 more. Now, in my head, you have 2 half courts for away and home, so technically these probably are just full courts, maybe that you could choose to play anyways, so I don't know. I just had this idea, what if like you could save your team to your Joy-Con and you take that Joy-Con to your friend's house and you put it in their Switch and then ba-boom, your team is now facing their team right there. I don't know, that opening shot, that's what it clearly reminds me of with this half thing, I don't know. This would be like a feature Nintendo would die on a hill to have put in for like no reason. Anyways, for the courts, so far the only confirmed ones are Mushroom Hill, the one with the rolling hills, blocks, the pipe as the net. We have a Bowser's Castle field, a DK Jungle field, and Luigi's Mansion. God, the lamp, the ballroom floor, the potted plant, This has to be done by Next Level Games. I'm really hoping it is, but from what I can see, I don't know. I just can't think anyone else is developing this. Finally, like the electric fence around the court, mine is being an entire death trap. It has the team's logo circulating around it and the team's colors. So let's talk about the logos, because I was confused at first, but from what I can gather, these logos are something you can choose and they're not predefined per team. Now, they may have generalized ones for the story mode, like, oh, Bowser's team has the Bowser logo, Mario's the Mario, but it seems like they just maybe have a list of these general symbols and you can choose which one matches your team. Once again, if this is the route they're going, I have to imagine there's got to be a lot of options. Next, let's look at the alternate costumes. Man, it looks like anything goes this time around. Like, literally, we have a red Luigi, a purple Mario with white stripes, blue Mario with the clown shoes, purple Wario, pink Waluigi. Like, it keeps going. And this conforms to whatever the character's body type is, as well as what equipment they have on, which is a lot of customization. I know we haven't even seen a lot in the trailer, but just by virtue, that is a lot of models and colors to customize, and I think that's really awesome. Another detail you may have missed is they carried over all of the numbers the characters had in the past Strikers games. Mario's 1, Luigi's 2, Peach's 10, DK's 55, Wario is 0, Waluigi is 0. And I have to imagine, although I couldn't see it, the Bowser is 6'6". WD Gaster? Now, a little speculative theory is that Rosalina is 11 and Toad is 12, while Peach was 10, Daisy was 9, and Yoshi was 8. Currently, no character holds the number 7, but Diddy Kong, what was Diddy Kong? He was 5, right? Out of all the numbers so far, 7, 4, and 3, they're up for grabs. So potentially that means they're going to be filling in those older slots or continuing up to 13, 14, and 15. But this is just a lot of nothing I'm saying now that I'm hearing myself talk. Another point of this game is, look at the expressions on those character portraits. Mama! This is why I was a little concerned, but when I took a closer look, I'm like, they actually are putting in a lot more work than it seems. Look at those expressions. Every single character is pissed, and it's not just here. On the court, if you get a few zoom-ins, look at Donkey Kong's face. Do you want to fuck with that? Especially in the cleats, excuse me! Speaking of, there are so many animation goodies. Everyone saw Rosalina floating while moving on the court. Of course, there's Wario catching the ball in his mouth and then palming the ball to shoot it, akin to how he did in the previous games. DK, for the first time ever, is wearing pants. Reminds me of the chicken in pants. He really did dress for the occasion this time. And Bowser. Bowser traditionally has been stuck with some of the worst running animations in gaming history, but in this game, it may just be one of the best, most fluid looking Bowsers I've ever seen. He's moving like a character that isn't just a lump of scales. And of course, the claws from the last game, they're back here as well, but it seems like it's a customization option whether you have them on Bowser or not. And Waluigi, the head spin. I mean, I was a little worried, but again, looking closer at these very quick animations, I'm like, okay, the personality, it's all there. And we're not even seeing a lot of the stuff where there is going to be attention to detail, like we have them landing from the sky on the ground, Peach being a diva once again, and the goal celebrations, we've only really seen like one from Mario, so, you know, not very impressive, but even Mario here, it's not just a wahoo, it's not like, woo, yeah, Mario's here, what you gonna do? I did it. It's like, yes, motherfucker, get the motherfucking, and the hyper strikes. Maybe we should talk about them? We went from super to mega to hyper. And you know, I'm confused too. In the trailer, they were very specific with this one, having its own section, telling us about the orb that appears on the field, turning your characters into Gooigi, and allowing you to do a super strike. So why? What is this? What's the point of this? What I believe this is sort of to circumvent the fact that every character on both teams can be a player human. It's not just computers. So that means you could coordinate and have everyone on your team tackle the other team and just get free shots off because you could charge it without any contention. So maybe this is giving a condition where you have to maybe be behind, or perhaps it's just thrown on at random where you have to react to it and change your game plan when you get it. And I don't know, I never really played with the super strikes because I just felt like it was cheap. In some scenarios, if you have a bomb or a chain chomp and a star, you just get a free one off, and yeah, in charge you could block them, but sometimes it just felt free. Missy! My friend, why are you yelling? I'm holding Missy now. Perhaps the hyper strikes, you know, they're actually embedded into the gameplay more than just these like one-off free goals, and actually remind me more of the sidekick strikes that were in charged. If you remember, they had super strikes of their own, but they weren't guaranteed unless you shot them from the correct area on the court or weren't interrupted, so they weren't exactly free. But if you got shot on by them, it sort of felt like your fault. And these sort of have a similar feeling to them. Look at Luigi's. So he does his little animation, it looks very epic, good job big buddy, but then afterwards, it doesn't just cut to the ball going in the net, it goes to the field and you see the tornado sucking in the other team as well as the goalie, but they still are able to have control. It's the same with Yoshi. Yoshi shits on the opponent and then he sort of stands there for a while the egg seemingly is being controlled to navigate around the court, hitting the other team. So what I think is happening here is that you don't just lose control and take the loss because they got off the super strike. It seems like you actually have a chance to defend against it if you see it coming, but it's probably very tight. These look very powerful, and if you get caught in the way of this egg, for example, you're pretty much done. This also brings up a point that the gameplay in the trailer didn't seem very good. It didn't seem like they were trying all that hard, and it was just like cherry-picked footage, because you'll see here that you can move after the the hyper strike, but it just seems like the other team's just letting it happen. Speaking of past strikers mechanics, the biggest one added to Charged was the charged ball. Missy, you gotta stop. It made it so you had to focus on positioning, so you make passes in order to charge the ball, and with a charged ball, your shot would be ever more powerful. It was super fun, like it actually felt like there was a rhythm to the game. And the first Strikers was fun, but it did feel like if you just took a shot near the net, even with a weak character, you could get it in. Whereas in Charged, you'd have to charge the ball to even have a chance of scoring, or increase the chances at least. As for this game, we do not really see a lot of that. There's one shot here, one shot that seems to be a little charged, but they're so close to the net that, like, I can't tell if it's part of the mechanic or they just got lucky. And Peach passes it to Toad here. Look at it, it's a charged ball. Homie, what are you doing, man? So I want to say it's here for sure, but the gameplay's kind of shit, so we're just gonna have to wait. Other returning mechanics include the slide tackle, the body checks, the different ground and lob passes, on-field character reactions after the goals. Guys, I was worried, but I'm less worried when I'm looking at all these things, because it really does just seem like this is a Strikers game through and through. Before, items would be put in your inventory when the other team was decimating you with slide tackles and body checks, but maybe this time around it's sort of gauged on how you're doing in the match and they give you a random item box. So far we got giant shells, bananas, mushrooms, and bombs. And the bombs actually aren't just dropped on your opponent and ending their pathetic little life. They walk out and give you a little bit of time before they explode. Anyways, there was a big part of this trailer I haven't even mentioned yet. The stats. In past games, characters were locked with a set of traits they had. That was just how you would differentiate playstyles. You'd choose Yoshi if you want balanced, you'd choose Bowser if you want a powerful shot but slow movement, and so on and so forth. And it seems like, you know, characters do have those base traits. You could mold the most milquetoast Mario into a marauding menace. Look at all these different versions, and take a look at some of these stats and how they change across the screen. Passing goes from like really bad to like amazing. I don't know what that means. Does that mean they can't be intercepted as much? Basically, all I'm saying is you can just have Mario. Usually the most basic of characters become very strong, and that might be very fun if you want to play like a crazy composition of characters, or just have whatever characters you want and have them fit whatever playstyle works for you. You're not locked in with a character you don't really like because they have stats you like, and I kind of really like that. Also, it seems you may gain currency in the game to like purchase these upgrades, so maybe there's a single player where you do that, or I don't know, maybe you get money after matches. Whatever the case may be, looks like there's gonna be a lot of unlockables. But it's exciting because you could really just have a gang of the weirdest characters and have the stats be something that suits your needs. This is the most awkward Discord call. Oh, I really hope there are more characters in the base game. Please. I just want a team of these schmucks. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover in this video. I did it in a stream, but the quality was ass, so I decided to just come over here and shoot my bloop and goop all over the shbloop. I'm hesitantly optimistic. I keep saying it, but when I first saw this, I was like, oh no, they're adding like weird new mechanics that change the game. I just want to play your classic strikers, but I mean, looking at all the details, it feels like they're actually putting a lot into this game. And it's all stuff that really reminds me of the older games, but adding in places similar to how when we had the first Strikers, they just added on top of it like they did in Charged. It seems like a very natural progression for them to go from, okay, you have sidekicks you can choose that have a captain to, okay, now you can just have whatever teams you want. And especially with that Luigi's Mansion Court, I want to believe this is next level games. It's really reeking with next level games type of content. My worry would be like release schedule and if they hold back characters or courts, because we just want variety from the jump. We just want to have it when the game comes out. Having all of these things released slowly over time, like fine, have characters come out, but if only 10 characters are on the roster, it would get bland. And like I said before, they are like very obvious characters that are missing. Daisy, Diddy Kong, Not You, Petey Piranha. The other sports games have like wacky additional characters like Chain Chomp or King Babam, so if they're hard, they'll put in a goddamn thwomp. Anyways, that's all I've got. I have my hopes that Strikers is back. I love the Strikers games, and just the idea that you could play this game online with this much customization, it's like the Strikers game I always wanted, just now we actually have a means to play it on an online service that's semi-reliable. So, what do you guys think? Are you excited? Are you more worried than me? Let me know. This is the end of the video. Thank you everyone for watching. Do not comment, do not subscribe, and definitely don't like the video at all. I'm not consistent, I don't know what I'm making, I am taking a break from YouTube, but Strikers just has my attention right now, so thank you for watching everyone. I will see you on the flip side.